like Photoshop. When you mask an area and you try to move or delete or whatever, and in this case we don't have delete, but if you try to do something, you can do it around the mask. The mask does not get touched. So how to mask? I told you it's with Control key. First, we can mask in the object. In the object, if we start with Control on the object, you see I'm pressing Control key and it's going to mask. So I'm holding Control key and I'm just drawing a mask. I can draw a mask. When I press Control Alt though, so I'm including Alt key, and you see this minus sign before the mask, you know. Minus is plus because I'm only with Control, and then minus Control Alt. And now we can just extract from the mask, subtract maybe, yeah. So we can basically erase the mask where we want. The other thing we can do is start the mask outside the object itself, and we're making this kind of selection. This selection can be moved while we are making it. So I'm now holding Control, holding my tablet, and I start holding spacebar. So Control spacebar and dragging, and you can drag your selection and just place it here, for example. Then Control Alt spacebar, which is a little bit difficult, but Control drag, then Alt to remove mask, and then spacebar, and yes. So spacebar basically is moving the selection. This, or even this selection, we can move with spacebar. But for this selection we will talk later. For now, let's turn out to masks. So what I can see here is that this area here is alone by itself, and then the chest is very much smaller. In our case, it's not like that. So what can I show you is how to do this. So first I will mask exactly what I want to stay, and then I will shrink the rest, and I will show you how it's done. So in order to mask here, because I can see it, I will press this solo button here. I use it often, but it's a good thing that it's there by default, so it's nothing to worry about. I'm masking this area, and let's see how the design will be from the back. The thing is that from the back we don't have a design, but we can kind of manage to think of something, probably. We'll see. Maybe something like this. Yeah, I would like it to be something like this. Okay, and now while we were on mask, now I will go to 4, which is move brush, and if I start moving like this, you see it's not very good. So I will just increase my brush with the bracket keys, or from here, or if you press S you can increase it, but I like to increase it with the bracket keys because I've used that in Photoshop way before I learned ZBrush, so it's kind of second nature to me. And I'm just moving with very big brush this thing inwards, so it's smaller, and that's okay. We can then invert the mask. So now if I want to work on the upper side, I will just click, not drag, just click outside the object. So click, and yeah. Maybe you're wondering what will happen if we control click in the object, but just click. We will feather the mask. So this kind of this points that the mask is meeting non-mask area, so the border will be feathered. Let's see. So control and click, 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 click. It's feathering. I'll control Z a few times. Control Alt and click will sharpen the mask. So you know, almost everything in ZBrush is with Control, Shift and Alt, so it's not that difficult. Control, Alt, Shift and dragging or clicking, you just have to know what to expect from ZBrush, and it's pretty good. So next thing we want to do is work on this area, we can just do this and this and this. And I think we have touched most of the things about masks. So you may notice that for now we just had subtool menu and the geometry menu and only Dynamesh, and that's it. So to start sculpting, you don't need too much menus. You need just to know some things, just some stuff. So don't be scared, don't be intimidated by ZBrush, because ZBrush has a lot of menus, a lot of things. It has stencil, it has stroke, it has tool, the tool, yeah, this is our menu, transform, Z plugin, and Z plugin has a lot of things in it. We are using one of these things, you know, from Z plugin. We are using from Subtool Master, mirror. Where is this? Mirror. It's here. But it's the only thing I use from there. So there are most of the things that I use, or most of the things that you will need, are here now in our interface. The brushes here, most used brushes, and the light here that we will need maybe in the end, and everything like this. So what I like to do now is make sure this is big enough here. Okay. And now I will show you, because the masks we already done it. So how to remove a mask completely? We can do this with Control Alt drag and just disable the mask, or we can Control drag outside the object. Exact thing that we're doing with the Dynamesh. We can Control drag. So if we Control drag now without a mask, there's no mask. If we now Control drag, it will make a Dynamesh, you know. It will Dynamesh it. You can see Dynamesh. And yeah, we have a good hole in. Very cool. So, but if you have a mask and Control drag once, it will remove the mask, and the next Control drag will Dynamesh. So you have to bear it in mind. What I want to do is separate this part in order to be a separate part. Very cool. So I will show you now something that I used recently, the last like 3 years maybe, and it allows me to work only in ZBrush, not going to Max and everything, for hard surface modeling, and it's pretty good. But bear with me here. We will do it a lot of times, maybe a couple of times here. So if you don't understand it now, although I will explain it very carefully, it's not a problem. I will explain it also some other time. So we go into mask here. So Control drag and just make a mask. But try to avoid the corners. So go near the corners, but not too near. Try to avoid them. It's not a problem to go a little bit inwards, but the thing is that we need more flat area. We don't need to go like this. It will be awful. So we do this, and then we just mask everything. If you want to mask bigger, you just Alt click and then release Alt, and the model will go very much away from you, and then you'll be able to control and drag to mask a big area. But you don't have to control that way, so don't go too far. Don't go too far. Okay, so this way we don't need to increase our brush size. We need just to get away from the model. And that's the good thing about not using the dynamic mode for brushes. Very cool. Again, I'm using pen tablet. So if someone asks, it's Intuos, I think 4. Yeah, Intuos 4, I think I'm using. Nowadays, the modern Intuos is, I think, 8 or 7, I'm not sure. So, now, we want to extract this, and I will show you how. So, in the subtool menu, in the bottom, we have this extract option, in the very bottom of the menu. So, extracting is pretty easy. You just press extract, and you will see that we have some mesh here. But if we rotate, it will disappear. Extracting has to be accepted. So it's just a preview here. If you move, it will disappear. So extract and then accept. And now you see we have this mesh and we are on it. It's masked a little bit and everything. So I will show you now the polygroups in ZBrush. If we turn on the polyframe, you will see, let's get rid of the mask by just making a selection with control. You will see that we have one group, one color here, one color here, which is the border, which is the thickness, and one inside. Most of the time, the inside color is different from the outside color. Now it's not, but I think there are different polygroups. How we can see if they are really different polygroups? We can do this. Control-Shift-Click. When you Control-Shift-Click on a group, it will isolate that polygroup. So, Control-Shift-Click. And you see that now we have only this group. Since this is only one-sided polygons, we cannot see their other side. We have a remedy for that. We can press double here and they will be visible, but let's don't do it now. So now we're isolating only this polygroup and the others are hidden from this subtool here. We can see them, only them, by Control-Shift dragging outside here, and we will see the other polygroups that are inside and the thickness. Now we can Control-Shift-Click and we will hide also the thickness, and the thickness will be now hidden along with the top layer, top polygroup, and we can even make this different color polygroup. So now, bear with me, we'll go to, again, the tool menu, of course, but down to polygroups here, polygroups. So you have to find it. It's between visibility and contact. And contact I haven't used ever in my life. I didn't know that this existed, but whatever. Polygroups, and then just auto group, and it will be green. And now if we show everything by Control-Shift-Click, just click, we have shown everything, and now they're obviously different polygroups. Although they were before, now they're obviously polygroups. So don't do the mistake to make Dynamesh. From now on, we'll not use Dynamesh for this particular mesh, for this subtool. So what we want to do, we want to isolate Control-Shift-Click. So Control-Shift is basically working with polygroups, hiding parts of the mesh and stuff. For example, Control-Shift-Dragging, we can hide parts of the mesh that we haven't touched. And now we have this. This is very useful. We can mask this, for example, and then Control-Shift-Click to show everything. And we have this mask, which is useful sometimes. But what we want to do is Control-Shift-Click, and now we have this. Then we will delete the hidden parts. So everything else will be deleted when we press del hidden, which is, let me see, where is del hidden? If it's merge split, I'm not sure where exactly is del hidden. Probably it's in modified topology. No, del hidden. Yeah, it's here. It's very much hidden, this button, del hidden, and I'm using it all the time. So I have it in this menu, and it's here, del hidden. So del hidden, and now we have only this. No matter how much we control click here, nothing else will appear, but we need only this. Now we want to use Z-Remesher. Z-Remesher will make this a very much more manageable topology, low poly, so we can easily make it the shape we want. So we go to Z-Remesher and we can Z-Remesh, but we don't want to Z-Remesh. From this menu here, which is pretty big, I use only Z-Remesher and target polygon count. So I have it here, Z-Remesher, target polygon count, sometimes keep groups and detect edges, but not quite much. So I have them here, I rarely use them. So Z-Remesher is here. You notice that we don't use everything in ZBrush in every menu. We're using just few things from here, few from there, and most of them I have just here in this menu or here, which is good. So now we go to target polygon count, the lowest possible, which is 0.1, and zero mesh. And now we wait a little bit. It will not be long, I think. And we have this. And this is the low poly I promised you. This is the low poly version of the mesh. It's pretty good to work with low poly because when we start, for example, to make a pose or something, for this character I'm not sure we will make, but maybe we will, why not? Yeah, it's pretty good. So when we start making something, we'll have a low poly version, and when you're moving around and doing it, it's very much easy to have this low poly. And I recommend it. Also, we can zero mesh it again and again. How many times we want, doesn't matter. It will be smoother and smoother. So now we'll press this and we'll see what we have here. Yeah, solo without solo. Yeah, we have just to be everything visible, and we can just work it out. I see this is pretty narrow and the helmet is a bit going like this. I think this is fine, and this could be even narrower here. So let's do this. And I think this is good, but this thing here I don't think we need, because here will be his arm and it's impossible to have armor there. So what we can do is, again, hide part of the geometry and then del hidden. That's how we work. So to hide parts of the geometry, we press Ctrl Shift and Alt, and you see red because we are hiding. So I will hide this and then this and then this. So be very careful from which direction you are hiding, because, for example, I want to hide this and I'm not very careful and I'm just hiding it like this. Yeah, it's hidden, but look from the back. Yeah, nothing. But let's see again. Like this. Hide it. And now, you see? So be careful how you hide it. So that's why I do this, because I know that below this there are no polygons and I cannot hide them by accident, the back polygons. So I'm just working here with the move brush, with the smooth brush a little bit, and just making this work. So I think we have managed to make those things. I will explain again, maybe not that detailed explanation I will make, how we work with polygroups, but every time I will show you, I will tell you the shortcuts and the things you have to press. So don't worry if you didn't get it. So just for the end, we will make those arms by pressing B to go to the brushes, curve tool brush. Now make my brush size a little smaller and do this. And you notice it's fine, and I will accept it by just clicking here and it will be fine. Of course, now you see that this what I hidden is not hidden and it's not gone. So what we can do first, we made the hands in the same subtool, the arms, with this. So we need to separate them. Split hidden, split unmasked, because it's masked. So always split unmasked, for example. Yeah, this is here. So I will solo it, and again I will hide this very easily, and I will check out if everything is okay. It's okay. So now I will del hidden again, and now it's good. Now it's fine. We'll make thickness in some of the next videos, because we have to say goodbye for now. But in some of the next videos we will make thickness for this part, and I will show you how to work with the Z modeler brush, but that will be some other time. For now, let's say goodbye, and in the next video probably we will make these shoulders, or at least kind of start to make them. They are a very important part. They are making a lot of the silhouette, so we have to be careful there. And also one thing, when you are extracting something like we did, the mesh you are extracting from remains masked, so be careful with that. We can unmask by just click dragging, control dragging, and we are okay. And now, see you in the next video, of course. And we are here again. Yes. So, let's do it. Let's continue doing it. So, now I promised you, this time we will do the shoulder. So, I don't know if you understood how I make the arms, but I made them the same way I made the horns. So, if you're not sure, because I don't think I explained it quite well, if you're not sure how I make the arms, go and see how I made the horns. It's with this brush, curved tube brush, and with just with this brush, yes. But to learn how to work with this kind of brushes, which are curved brushes, you have to go to the tutorial about the video about the curved tube brush, because there I explain how to work with this kind of brush. So here I'm using mostly the move tool, and I'm preparing everything, just touch here and there. It's not mandatorily that I will make everything perfectly and exact the same way here. I will try, but the thing is that it takes time, and also it takes to have all the parts first. So next, what we want to do, we want to go to the body by clicking, alt clicking, you know, with alt clicking on the objects, we're changing the subtool, and that's faster than just trying to find it here, but still, let's try it here. I'm on the body, I can press solo. Now I want to make this kind of shoulder pad or shoulder. It's a little bit complicated. We can make it from either a cylinder and then hide some parts of the cylinder and delete them, or we can make them the same way we made this armor here, this one. But I think from cylinder it will be a little bit more interesting, because we already have seen how to make this from extraction, and now let's see how we can make something from a cylinder. So you notice how my body disappeared, because the icon here is gray of the eye. So the eye, if we press the eye, it is here. If we press the eye again, it's not here. But if we press the eye on the active subtool, which is the armor on the shoulders, they don't disappear because it's active. And when the tool is active, no matter if the eye is active or not, it will be seen. The tool, it will be visible. That's the thing. So one thing I want to show you about the visibility is shift click on one of the eyes will disable the visibility of all the subtools. Shift click again will enable it. Yeah, this could prove useful. We'll see. So we will append from here, append. Go to the menu without going out of the menu, because it will disappear, and probably cylinder 3D from here or from here, it will be okay. So we get the cylinder, and we have to go to the cylinder, so either here or here. You know, we are on the cylinder. Now we press solo to work only on this cylinder. Make sure when we're working on this kind of things like the cylinder to not have the perspective on, because yeah, it will be bad. Then we turn on polyframe, disable perspective, and now we'll hide parts of the cylinder, most of the parts of the cylinder, almost everything, and we'll leave just that, because we need we don't need to have too much edge loops. We don't need them. And then we will del hidden, and then I'll go here, Control Alt Shift drag, then space, it's a little bit difficult, and drag it here. So I will hide this and then del hidden. And now we have this, and now I press W to get my pivot. And if you want to center your pivot to the unmasked part of your model, now everything is unmasked, so center to the model, just press Alt and this button here, this one. Go to unmasked mesh center. So Alt, press it, and it will go to the center, which is very convenient. Now when it's on the center, we can just drag this green slider to make it bigger. And then solo, disable. Now we can move it to the side, rotate it with pressed shift, because with press shift, you know, if you see the degrees down, there are 5 degrees increments. If we don't press shift, it's a mess. So with shift, 90 degrees, and it will be cool. Now I'll make it bigger and put it where the shoulder should be, probably something like this. Move it with this handle, and it could be something like this, of course, a little bit wider. So why I don't want edge loops here? Because it will be much easier to make this kind of little here and then white here. So yeah, this will be easier for me to make. But first, solo, and then we will delete half of the cylinder almost. So just drag like this. So what have I done? So let's see. I have arranged my camera so my cylinder is like a parallel to my horizontal line. Let's see it now. Okay, but I want it to be like this because I want to cut here, and I cut it here, and I think it's kind of good. Maybe we can cut a little bit more here, but probably not. Okay, so now what we want to do is start adjusting this. I'm pressing my move brush and I'm doing a little bit of adjustment. So let's see. The helmet ends here and a little bit below ends this armor. In our case, this armor ends a little bit more below, probably, or not. Probably it's good. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. So the shoulder is small. Yeah, I'm trying to get the move brush, and with the move brush, yeah, another thing. If you want to use the move brush to go inwards or outwards like this, you have to press Alt. Just press Alt. You see the minus sign. Without the minus sign is just in the middle of our brush, you know, the minus sign appears, and then we just click and drag. This is dragging right, this is dragging left. So left, right, or up or down. But the left and right is the best. So this way you're moving the polygons according to the normal of the point you have clicked on. So here, for example, Alt click and then move like this. Alt click here and move like this, you know? Yes. So let's just adjust this, make it bigger, and move this here, because you notice how this is in this area here. The end of the shoulder is starting from this area, so it should be around here, probably. Yes. And the shoulder itself should be a bit bigger. And in the back, we don't know how it is, but we can imagine it. Of course, we can always imagine it. And now I will have to show you the Z-Mesher brush. Z-Modeler, I mean. Z-Modeler brush. Don't be mistaken. Z-Modeler brush. Z-Mesher is the other thing that I've shown you that we made this. This is the Z-Mesher, and it's located here. Or we have it here. It's the same. But this time I will show you the Z-Modeler brush, which is this brush here. It's a very important brush for low poly modeling in ZBrush, and that's what we're gonna do now. This shoulder, I notice, is almost vertical here, but we will not make it vertical, we'll make it kinda on angle. Vertical is too much, I think. So I'm just moving with my move brush, rotating the camera, moving around, and that's why it's very important to be able to rotate and pan and move the camera around easily and freely, and that requires practice, of course. And if you try to make this model, and bear with me here, probably you will have a bit of a practice and it will be much easier for you every time you do something in ZBrush, I guess. Yes. So now I think it's kind of good. So we go to the modeler brush and nothing happens except this falls down and we have this polysphere here. Why? Nobody knows. Now, how this Z modeler brush works? It works in this way. Now, Q-mesh a poly. You see, when we are on a poly, it's Q-mesh a poly. I'm not pressing anything. I'm just hovering. Hovering over edge, it's edge loop. Hovering over a point, it's doing something for a point. So, go to a poly, for example. Press space. And you have all these options. And you get scared and run away. Yes, I know. But don't be scared. I was scared first time I saw this. They introduced this to ZBrush, I think 3 or 4 or 6, no, maybe 4 years ago, something like this. Or 5. But no matter. The thing is that we are using some of the options there, not everything. So don't be scared. So first, we go to an edge loop. Edge, not an edge loop. Because by default, when we click on an edge, with this brush, we're making edge loop. But we don't need that now. I'm not sure why this made this kind of thing here. It's strange, but we'll see. Del hidden. I haven't pressed del hidden. Now it's good. Okay. So we want to make this edge loop here so we can make this lip and the bottom one too. So I will show you now on the edge and then press space. And then we have insert here. This is the action, all actions, and what they apply to. So insert single edge loop or multiple edge loops. We need single one for now. So insert is one of the main things we do with edges. Insert, crease sometimes, and yeah, bridge, but insert is the main thing. So insert single edge loop. We go insert it here. Then we can insert one in the bottom too, but let's not do it now yet. First we go to this thing here. We want to select only this row of edges here. So we go to edge, one of the edges, press space while we are on the modeler brush, of course. You see it here in the top left corner. We are on the modeler brush. So edge, hover it, don't click it, then press space, and then stay on this menu, because if you go out, no, until you're pressing space, you're okay. So I'm just holding space now. Then we need to mask, not an edge, but edge loop complete. Let's try that. Edge loop complete. So click it, and now this whole edge is masked. And now I can reverse the mask, so this whole edge will be unmasked and everything else will be masked. How do you invert the mask? Of course with Control, clicking outside of the object. Just click, don't drag, click. And now it's unmasked. Now we can call our pivot and just center it to the unmasked portion of the model, and then just make this and this. And then I press Q to get out of the pivot mode, then press 4 to get out, this 4, to get out of Z modeler mode, Z modeler brush, and then I increase my brush and just do this. Just manually adjust what happens with this lip. And it's starting to take a pretty good shape, yes. So with Z modeler brush, we can do a lot of things. And one of the things that we will do with Z modeler brush in the course of our tutorial or course, we will make thickness of objects. And this is very, very cool feature. We can extrude polygons or parts of polygons, not parts of polygons. Some polygroups we can extrude. We can do a lot of things with this brush. So it's very, very good. Z modeler brush is one of the best tools that were introduced in ZBrush in the recent years. Maybe the best, because it allows us to make things in ZBrush without going to 3D Max and stuff. Before that, I was like always going to 3D Max, making this shoulder, for example, and putting it back here, and it's not that good. So now I will show you, and not only now, I will show you a lot of times how to save your file here. So this is Save Tool, and you can see the shortcut, it's Control S. By default, this shortcut is Control Shift S, I think, or something like this. But and Control S is File, Save As, is Control S. But now I made this Control S because I save only Tool. Very rarely I save a project which is saved from File here. So Tool, Save As, or Control S, and we save our tool as 08, for example. And you better save more often, because sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes ZBrush crash and doesn't save your progress. Very rarely, I say. Most of the time ZBrush is saving your progress, and it's here. If you open Lightbox, this thing that first we opened, and you go to Quick Save, and you can see some things that I have done before, some aliens, some other things. But this is quick saves, and ZBrush makes them often, so it's cool. But if we want to load the file again, we can go to Load Tool, of course, and load our file. But we will do that another time, and I will show you what happens. I've shown you the first video, but it was just like preview, and I will show you again, of course, because this is important. Loading and saving files is pretty important. I will do it. And in this case, they are files, but they are tools. Here in ZBrush, they are called tools. So we have this. Let's fast go to ZModeler brush, go to Insert, Single Edge Loop is selected. So we go here, make this, then we go to Mask, Edge Loop Complete, Mask, Edge Loop Complete, and mask it, Control click here to reverse the mask. Then Alt click this button on our pivot, and the pivot is called by W key or E key or R key, which one you choose. But W is the closest, I told you. And now we just make this and this. And now I press 4 to get to my move brush and just go to it like this. So let's see everything and figure out what we can do next. Okay, this is pretty big, and I will just move it down like this, so it's not that long, but it could be long, we'll see. It's pretty big, so I will make it smaller and rotate it a bit and put it here. It's a little bit bigger than the head, so yeah, it's kind of like this. Okay, so we have this shoulder, and let's make thickness for this piece here. I think it's kind of good. We can try to make thickness for it, but first let's make it a little bit more interesting. So move brush, use the move brush, of course, always. Move brush is one of my favorites, maybe my favorite brush. I'm not sure which one is my favorite brush, but move brush is definitely one of the favorite ones. I like it very much. So smooth here with shift. With every brush, shift is smooth. Almost every brush. Let's try the ZModeler, and shift is smooth again. So with every brush, smooth is shift. Shift smooth, then we go here. When we look from this direction, it will be a little bit awkward, because you see here it's not quite understandable what is there. But we can go to the hand, press our 6 button, which is inflate brush, or select it from here, but it will be easier with the shortcuts, of course, and just inflate this, then go to our move brush with 4, move around and just make sure it's going inwards. And then I will increase this. Of course, we can always adjust. It doesn't matter. But the thickness, we'll make it in the next video, because we'll continue probably working with our Z-modeler brush because it's kind of not difficult because it's very easy, but it's kind of something different. It's different. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, saving project files. ZBrush is auto-saving, and it's auto-saving kinda every 20 minutes. So yeah, it's time to end this video, and I'll see you in the next, of course. Hello again, and what I will show you today or in this video is how to make the armor here, the body armor. Let's try it. So first we will make sure that we don't need this kind of things anymore, because we already have this kind of traps armor, so we don't need it. I'll smooth it, push it a bit inwards and smooth it. What I need to do now is, let me see, make the shape of this thing here like this, then with the move tool, and now I'm getting my damp standard brush. You see, when I'm changing the brush, you will see it here, damp standard brush I'm using now, and I will cut in here. And the damp standard brush by default is a bit different from the other brushes because it's on Z sub by default, and most of other brushes are Z add by default. So you have to be aware of this. And I mostly, when I'm adjusting my ZBrush at the beginning, when I install new ZBrush or when I'm sitting in a new computer, I always make it to Z add and then save it separately. Where to save it is another question. Most of the times you save your brushes that you're using in C program files, Pixologic, ZBrush, for example, ZBrush, the version you have, and then it's Z startup is most likely the place you place your new brushes that you want to use in Z startup brushes. But yeah, I'm telling you that probably you won't remember it, which is cool because we don't need that now. We don't need it at this point because we are using only the brushes that ZBrush provides from the beginning. We won't be putting new brushes. I rarely use any other brushes, some alphas sometimes, but not brushes. So let's see, this is kind of good, but we need to move with the move brush. So you see how am I again rotating around the object and using various brushes to achieve the goal. So in the beginning you won't be that quick probably, and you will have to think, okay, which brush to use here, which brush to use there. But at some point you will get faster and faster, and suddenly you will be very good at this. Of course you have to put the time and effort to learn it, and yeah, to practice it enough. Let's do this, and I think this is cool. Let's see it. But I'm thinking of something. Probably we should zero mesh this armor, and it will be easier to make this all these things. Let me see. Yeah, it's looking kind of good. It's looking kind of good, but I will zero mesh it. How to zero mesh it? Okay, we can go here or zero mesh from this menu. Of course, if you don't have the menu, you won't be able to zero mesh from there. So you will zero mesh from here in the geometry tab, zero mesher, and go to zero mesher and lower. Let's try 0.5 and zero mesh, and let's see what kind of topology it will make. Whether it will be nice or not, we'll see. It's a bit more polygons than I anticipated, but probably it could be fine. Yeah, I think it's we'll see. So now I'm continuing with the standard brush, just pushing here and there. We'll see how it will be. I'm going to use also the pinch brush. What the pinch brush does is, you can see when I'm just dragging with the pinch brush, it's just making the polygons closer to each other and thus making a kind of sharp transition between some planes, for example, if we want to do it. And obviously we will use it for this. Sharp transitions from plane to plane. This is the pinch brush. And when I'm pinching valleys, I'm pinching peaks, I'm pinching just with the pinch brush, I'm just dragging. When I'm pinching valleys or inward things, I'm pinching with Alt. So yeah, again, we have the Alt use of the brush. And of course, the Shift use of the brush will be to smooth. Let's do this now. This, and let's see. Okay, this kind of thing here on the neck, let's move it down. And since it's a little bit lower poly, I think we can move it down easily. I will make sure this is inward. And I don't know how the hands will work, but probably they will at some point, somehow. We'll make them work. And I'm just, again, Alt, moving, Alt. Yeah, let's see again how to pan and zoom. Just Alt, click, and then we move. With Alt, holding Alt, we're moving. And then we release Alt and continue to drag, and we are like this. So, let's see what else we might learn about what. So, I don't think I explained you the polygroups in ZBrush pretty well. We have used them here in this area, but I haven't explained them yet. Also, although we will use a little bit of a Z-modeler brush again. Just pressing space, insert, single edge loop. We insert one looped here, and also we will mask it again. Reverse the mask, and then put our pivot with Alt click here to be centered, and then a little bit of increase. So I want this area, this shoulder, to be a bit spherical, I mean a part of a sphere. Then I will, you see how I disabled the mask, how I deleted the mask. You just control, drag outside the object, and the mask is gone, completely gone. This is cool. And yeah, you can see this shoulder here, this lip, the lower lip, this is a little bit strange here, but in this area we can see it better, and I think we have made it as good as it can be. We'll see. We'll see. We can now go to make the thickness of this shoulder, which will be fine, and I will make it thicker probably than the image. We'll see. So, how to make thickness? We go to polygon, not to an edge, and polygon. And when we go to a polygon, we press space again and hold it. Because if we don't hold space, it will disappear. So, hold. And then we have QMesh by default here. We can do it with QMesh, but I prefer extrude. So from this all options here, which looks very scary at the first glance, we use only extrude, polygroup, and most of the time we use extrude and polygroup. That's the most things we use about polygons. And then here we will extrude not a single poly, but all polygons. Sometimes we use polygroup all polyloop, and anything else probably we don't use. I mean, from these all options we use frequently like 4 or 5 options, all, you know. So it's not that scary. You will just have to learn those few. So extrude all polygons, extrude them inward, and you notice how our polygons are inverted. And we'll have to fix that. And it's pretty easy. We can go to I think it was display properties. Yes, flip. And we flip the polygons. But I have it here also, flip. So I always, kinda always, when I extrude my polygons, when I make thickness like this, I make it inward and then I flip. And then I'm crazy. When I flip, I'm crazy. Flip, oh, crazy. No, I'm good. So we have this thing. And this thing is the shoulder. What we can do... So you will ask probably, okay, you have this shoulder, but he has two shoulders. Very good question. Thank you for this. And if you like this course, of course, you can put a good comment wherever you are looking at the course. I mean, in which site, because probably it's in Udemy or ArtStation and some other places. Who knows where you can look at it. So, place it. How to mirror this shoulder. Easy. First select the shoulder by alt-clicking on it. Alt-clicking on the shoulder. And let's turn on polyframe because it will be easier to see what we have selected. So now the shoulder is for sure selected. We go to mirror, which is here. But if you don't have it here, the mirror, you have to go to transform, not to transform, to Z plugin, subtool master. So Z plugin here, because Z script is and Z plugin are at the end of this because it's alphabetical. Yeah. So Z plugin, go to subtool master and then mirror, just press it and you will get this option, this menu, and it's pretty straightforward. I always use this first option, merge into one subtool. If I want it to be a separate subtool, of course I will do the second option. And you see the preview here on the right. This will be one subtool, this will be two subtools, and there, here in the bottom you see the preview again. Now it will be on x-axis, so it will be exactly what we want. If we want it to be on top, it will be like this, and if we want to be behind, on z-axis. So we want x-axis as it is, so we just press OK. I just explained those options to you, but we just have to press OK most of the time. So if you are using, of course, X symmetry on your model, and we are, so it's cool, because when I press X, the symmetry is X. We can change it, but we don't need. So the symmetry is X, and we need the symmetry turned on, so we press X to turn it on for these shoulders, because when we move one, we want the other one to move too. So now our model is starting to look pretty good, although the horns aren't alright yet. So maybe we should make them low poly too, so we can easily modify their appearance. So let's see them with this solo mode. I use always the solo mode when I want to concentrate on one thing, and I want to concentrate on these horns now. Let's zero mesh them. Okay, I will zero mesh them from this menu because it's easier. We have fewer options here. So let's try at 0.7. And of course, if we don't like it, we can always go ahead and Control Z and change it to something else and just try it again. But yeah, this is cool. So I'm showing it. If I want to check out how my model looks according to the image, according to this, I will have to make it relatively the same size. So now it's kind of the same size, and it's not exactly the same. So I will push this up. I will make these horns a bit bigger, and with the inflate tool, I will inflate them to make them a bit bigger. The horns are very important because they are giving us the silhouette of this character, and if we don't make them big enough or even bigger than they are in the image, we won't have a good looking character. So I'm making them a bit bigger than they were, and now it's looking better, I think. Okay, let's put them like this on the side. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I'm thinking that this is starting to look pretty good. Of course, from the side view, it doesn't look that promising, but we'll see. And also, you can see our head is a little bit lower than this. But when we put perspective on, it's a bit more like we have to be. What I'm doing now is just moving down the armor of the traps, and then I will alt click on the body itself, which is here, and move it down too, because we don't need that body there, and we don't need that things too. We need the body to be just below, but not protruding over the armor above, if you understand what I'm saying. So basically, in this video we have done the thickness of the shoulder. We can do the thickness of the armor too. So yeah, let's do it. We are on the armor now, you can see, and I will on this part, and I will just make thickness, because now we have already made extrude all polygons, so we just need to place it on the polygon and drag down, and we will see this happening, and then we will flip it again. So flipping is good, always. You always have to flip without being crazy, you know, just flip without being crazy. Now I'm making solo mode because I want to isolate a bit this this thing here, and I forgot the name of neck something, but whatever, it's not important. Is this thing, and we need to make it look good. Whether we will be able to, it's another question, but probably we will. And I'm using high polish brush to make some flat areas, which is needed here, and that's fine. We can even dig deep here, but it wouldn't be visible, so it's not mandatory. Okay, this is looking kind of good. All right, and yeah, we can see that the model is starting to take a pretty good shape. One more thing is, not one more thing, but we have to probably start working on the arms a bit, because yeah, but probably we won't start working on the arms. We will just make the legs. Why don't we make the legs? So you can notice how I just alt clicking, changing between the tools, and doing some stuff here and some stuff there, just making sure that everything is looking good. If I can make it better looking than the concept, it will be the best, of course, but since the concept I've chosen, I like it and it's looking good, and I want to make it at least as good as the concept. That's my goal here, and I'm working a lot slower than I'm used to work, because I want to show you everything. I want to explain every step of the way, and that's why, you know. And I'm not explaining now what I'm doing, I'm just talking, because now you know that I'm changing brushes with my keyboard. I'm changing it with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can see them change here. 1, standard brush, 2, clay tools, 3, pinch brush, 4 is move, 5 is high polish, 6 is inflate, 7 is down standard, and 8 is demodeler, but I don't use the shortcut for 8 because I'm not used to. Because just recently I made this shortcut, and before that I didn't have 8. I was up to 7 only. So yeah, it's I can get used to it, but I don't use this brush that often. I mean, I'm changing between the move and standard brush and other brushes very often because I'm sculpting, you know. When I'm sculpting, I'm using them a lot, but the demodeler brush not that much. So let's try to make the legs. I will show you again. So B, press B, go to curve tool brush, this brush with the big eyebrows like mine, big, yes, and the mustaches I don't have, and then we just make it. We can make it from the front, like this. But it will be a bit strange, but why not? We make it from the front, and now we can go until our brush is blue, so here. And if we go a little bit further than the curve, the brush is normal. But if we are on the curve, it's blue. So now I will make it smaller while it's blue, and then I will just adjust the curve a bit like this. So it's going in this S curve. Yes. And we will probably have to inflate, and here it's a bit strange, but we will make it, no problem. I don't know why we have another, it's fine. So now I think they are kind of good, the legs, so we can just accept the curve. And accepting the curve, I told you already, it's easy, but some people just don't know it. Just we choose where to just tap on the mesh, just tap without anything, without alt, without anything. And then we will just split unmasked or split masked, and I have it here because I use it often, split unmasked. And now it's on another subtool, and we will continue working on this in the next video. Bye for now, and hopefully you are happy with what you see. And of course we cannot leave the hand just like this, the arm, and we will continue working on it. We are on the same subtool now, the subtool of this thing, and it doesn't look super nice because of those polygons here, so I will zero mesh it one more time to see what's happening. And still it's not exactly the best because we need more polygons in this area here, so we will be able to make this kind of groove. It's not a groove, but whatever, we have to make it, so it will be good to have polygons there. Because if we have less polygons there now, while we need more, after we subdivide, in some places we'll have to subdivide it. In a level that in some places it will be too much geometry unneeded, and in some places it will be not enough. But that are concerns, you know, when you are a beginner in ZBrush, that is not a big concern yet. That are more advanced concerns, if we can say so. So now let's make thickness of those parts. Z-modeler, go to a poly, extrude all polygons. So we will extrude now. Let's try that. Extrude inward, and it's gone. And we have to flip to see it. Okay, we flipped and it's there. It's cool. And now we will extrude also this one. Extrude inward a lot, and then flip and see it. So I extruded kind of a lot, more than I need, because it will be better to have it more than we need than to have it not enough extruded. Yes. So everything looks pretty awesome now, but I want to do one more thing. Let's move this a little bit upward like this. I want to go inside and make this inside polygroup go over the outside polygroup, so we have this kind of in between, the thickness visible from here, for example. How do we do that? And if you don't understand what we want to do, just watch. So now we can control click with first. If we want to select one polygroup and mask everything else, we have to go to our pivot. And now we are on pivot mode, although we don't see the pivot. But if we control click on this, our pivot is coming there, and also only this polygroup became unmasked. Everything else is masked. And then with the move brush, we go and move this upwards. And that's what I want to do. Move this upward, so it's more visible from a lot of places. This will give us a little bit more readability, I think, of this part. but that's just my opinion. We'll see how it goes. But this was a good time to show you how to use the pivot, not the pivot, but the 3D gizmo. This is the 3D gizmo. How to use it to just select different polygroups. And now, very important, when you have this kind of extruded mesh, low poly and everything, don't ever use Dynamesh again on it. Use Dynamesh only for the beginning, for the main forms and stuff. And after you do the low poly, after you do extrusion and then zero mesher and everything, don't do Dynamesh. It will be a big mistake. You will have a mesh that you will not be able to control easily like we are controlling it here, because low polys are much easier to control than high polys. So that's a big tip, and hopefully you will remember. When we have this, we have it and it's cool. Don't Dynamesh it ever. So now I will control drag to disable the mask. Then I will go to the hand and just smooth around these areas here. Disable the mask again on it, on the arm itself, and smooth. So, and then I will go with my standard brush with Alt just to push this down. And also we can do it with 5, which is a high polish brush. The high polish brush, we're doing this, and we will do also this. We don't need these things anymore. We have them as a separate object, so we don't need them to be appearing in here. Even they are obstructing us from having a good looking hand or arm, for that matter. Yeah, probably you already understood that I am always, or kinda most of the times, say arm and I mean say a hand and I mean arm. But that's just the way I am. Okay, now you notice that I'm not using symmetry, and I don't particularly care about this now, because I can just, Control Shift and then Alt. When we Control Shift drag, we see this, and I'm holding Control Shift, I'm dragging, and then we just press Alt, and we can erase this, del hidden. Now we don't have the other arm, and we don't need it, you will see, because we will just do what? We'll see what we will do. But let's continue working on this. So now I would like to put one more, insert a polygroup here. You notice? Insert. It will be good to have one more row of polygons here. When we subdivide, it will be easier to make a detailing here, because we will have more geometry when we subdivide. Yeah, I'm just thinking about a lot of things. So inside, I'm noticing that this should be more inward. With the standard brush and Alt, I'm just pushing it. This is looking a little bit odd. So with the move brush, I will move it. And then we will do the same for this thing as we did for the elbow armor, which will be to press W, and now we are on pivot mode, then Control, click, and then we have masked, and then we press Q to get out of pivot mode, and then with the big move brush, we go ahead and just make sure that this is visible a bit. Not too much though, just a little bit visible. We can do it from here also, because all other things are masked, so it will be easier. Okay, here we don't need it because it's hidden, but I think it's cool. Control drag, and let's show everything else with the solo button. I use solo button all the time, but I said that, so it's cool. Let's press D. This is dynamic subdivision, of course, and we need crease. We go to crease, at 1, crease it, and then we go to dynamic subdivision on 4, for example, and we have a pretty good result, but we need to push it so this kind of thing that is showing is kind of same all around. It will be more consistent. It's looking good. Now this, press D, then crease at 1 crease level. Okay, dynamically subdivide at 4 or 3 or 4. 4 is nice. It's nice. Then let's see this. And since this is not subdivided, this is not creased, we'll go ahead and crease it manually. Just press here. And it's creased now. It's looking good, although we can put one more polygon probably here, but yeah, let's not get over ourselves. I think it's fine. Probably here we need to crease it more. Yes. Yeah, when the angle is bigger than 45 degrees, it's not getting creased. So we need the angle to be smaller than 45 to have the crease. Then I can move this inward exactly like this, and it's kind of looking good. Yeah, one hand at least is looking kind of good. Since this and this both are creased the same, we can merge them easily, and I haven't shown you how to merge things yet, but we have to do this also. Let me see. Okay, the problem here is, you see here is sharper, this angle, and here is almost non-existent, because this, the closest edge, is a bit far away in this direction, and also the same for this. So what we can do is, with move brush, we can move these things closer to the edge, and it will be fine. Of course, this could be done also with another interesting thing, Z-modeler. Go to a point and then slide. We have to find slide, and then we just slide this point, and we will not crump the geometry. We will not make it you know, wrinkly, because it will slide along the edges and it will go exactly where we want it to be. Of course, this is slow. We can also slide pieces of edges too, but I wanted to show you how to slide points, and it's pretty easy. And for this one, we can slide the whole edge, or edge loop complete, or edge loop partial. Let's try edge loop complete, but we don't want the whole edge loop to slide, so we'll mask some area of the loop that we don't want to slide, and we will slide the rest like down. Not so much down. And then we can go to each point and slide it a bit. And we have a pretty good result, I think. Yeah, it's a little bit crimply, but it's nothing too much, so it's fine. And this thing here is pretty ugly, but it will probably not be that visible, so no, it will be, but it's not that big of an issue, I think, so it's cool. Let's go with our inflate brush, inflate this uniformly, and it's fine. So now I will apply subdivisions in order to make this kind of groove. Apply here, the button, apply, next to dynamic, apply, and now we have 5 subdivision levels. How to groove? We can use Orb Cracks brush. It's pretty good brush for the grooves, but if you don't have this brush, we can use down standard brush, which is 7 in our case here, and the down standard brush is good job. It's doing a good job. Then we increase the lazy radius. Lazy mouse should be on. We'll increase the lazy radius, excuse me, and we will just drag along, and we will have this kind of interesting thing. It's not that interesting though, but it's a kind of detail which we don't want to miss. It's a good detail. People like this kind of detailing. Okay. And also, we have to make the same here. So let's apply dynamic and try to make the same detail here. And I think we have succeeded pretty well. Let's solo it, because here it will be easier when we see where we're going. Maybe the top part, we can do it too. Why not? Let's do it to the top part. Why only the bottom part? In the concept, it's only the bottom part, but I don't think we should differentiate that much. Next, we can go to lower subdivision with Shift D, and then with a big pinch brush, we can pinch this a bit, so we have this kind of sharp result. It will be better preserved or better observed by the public, or better accepted by the public when it's a little bit sharper, since this is a stylized character, highly stylized or heavily stylized, if we can say. And this is starting to look, like I said already, pretty awesome. Now this thing, we can increase the Dynamesh levels on it, so this could be better looking. So now we are at 48, I think, yes. So we can go at, for example, 122, press polish, that's why it's there, 122, enter, and then Dynamesh. And now we have this. It's looking fine with the damp standard brush without lazy radius. We can just go ahead with Alt and just push it, pull this, push, pull, stuff like this. And it's starting to look pretty awesome. I'm smoothing, and then I'm going clean with the damp standard brush to make this happen. Also smoothing here with Shift, and then with the damp standard brush, just filling this. Now, I'm always working with low subdivisions in the beginning in order to make the whole thing work. And after that, only after that, I'm moving to a higher subdivision, because otherwise the model tends to be to get crumbly or wrinkly or whatever, and it's not looking professional at all. So we don't want that. So use your low subdivisions in the beginning, use Dynamesh wisely, go step by step up. Don't ever jump like a lot higher in the beginning with subdivisions, because you will get bad results, definitely. And now with the damp standard brush, I will deepen those grooves so they will be more pronounced. And also here for the thumb, I will deepen this, and it's starting to look pretty good. It already has started, but still with the inflate brush we can go and make this even better looking. And then with the damp standard brush again here. The hands are pretty important. Don't get me wrong, the hands and the face are the most important things, but the face in our case is not that important since it's not visible. Although maybe in the next or the video after that we can make some face just for fun, just to loosen up a bit and stuff before starting to poly paint and to do some other very serious activities. I'm joking, of course, they're not that serious because poly painting is mostly fun. But I think it's looking kinda good. If it's not, I'm sorry, but that's all I can do. Yeah, I was good before, now I'm not. So that's all I can do. Sorry about that. And continuing, I think it's looking pretty good. Although this should be kind of armored. So let's try to make it look armored. Like this. This is an armor. This could be armor piece here. Why not? Just making some... This could be something like this. I'm just trying some stuff. Trying to look like an armor glove. And I don't know if I succeed or if I have succeeded, but at least I'm trying. I think it's good. So let's show it, everything, and it looks pretty awesome. I will smooth it a bit, and then I will mirror it to the other side. The hand, I will press X, so we will have symmetry now. And then I will merge. Let's talk about the merge for a little bit. When this subtool and this subtool, we want to merge those two. These are this one and this one. We have to see if they have the same subdivision number, and they have it. So we go to the top subdivision, to the top subtool, and the other is on the bottom, and we go to merge down. So merge down is very much used when we want to lower our subdivision count to make less not subdivision, subtool count. So now I will merge down, and ZBrush will say this is an undoable operation. This is not undoable. So are you sure? I say okay. And now ZBrush is saving the project file, but it's on. It's now one, as you can see, one subtool, and then it has all the subdivision levels because they were equal. If one of them was 4 subdivisions and the other 5, the resulting mesh will be 4 subdivisions. So the lower will apply. If one of them is 2 subdivisions and the other is 10, the resulting mesh will be 2 subdivisions only. But since they both are 5, it's just the best result we can get. So we can go down a little bit, and we can end this video right about now because it's already time. I tend to make videos less. Let's mirror it. It will be 500,000 polygons, ZBrush says, but I don't care that much because all my model now is 1.5 million polygons, which is very good since most of the things are just dynamically subdivided, not really subdivided. And how do you see your poly count? It's here, active and total points. Active is on this subtool that is active now, but you can just hover your mouse over this active subtool and you will see extract tree is the name, then poly points and stuff, total polygons and everything. So yeah, we have a pretty good result already. So see you in the next video. We'll see what we'll do there. So let's continue working on the legs a little bit more, and we'll see what we do next. So for the legs, I will disable the mask by just control dragging. And if you don't have a mask on your model, when control drag here beside your model and you don't have Dynamesh, let's see, Dynamesh is on. Yeah, so control click is just masking the whole object, the whole subtool, or the visible part of the subtool. For example, if we control shift drag and just hide most of the leg, and then control click to mask everything, we will not be masking the hidden part. So when we control shift click to show everything, we'll see that we have masked only this part. This is used sometimes combination of poly grouping, hiding and showing and everything is used to mask certain areas if you want. But yeah, it's a little bit more intermediate usage, although I think I've shown you very good how to use the masks and poly groups, and now I'm just making this flat because if we try to use the tool that we have used here for the bottom of the feed, it will not work that much because we have symmetry and this is here, and if we do this here, it will flatten also this part. It will be bad. So we have to know when and where to use our tools, basically. And this is good to know. But if you don't know, then you don't know. It's yeah, I'm sorry. I have to teach you. But I will. The thing is that you will know by yourself when to use things and stuff when you have practice. The practice is everything. Without practice, nothing can happen. So be careful to have practice. So this, as we can see here, is a little bit sharper on the image. So basically I will sharpen it, but not that much, just a little bit. Then we have to work a bit more on the legs, a bit more on other things, because yeah, we want a good looking image. So what have I done now? I just want to extrude parts of this, but not extrude, but just move them up. So this is, for example, this will be the leg. So what can I do? First, I will do this. Mask certain area here, invert the mask. And then I will move this area with my pivot. By clicking W, I'm going to the pivot again. And I will move it inwards. First inwards and then outward. And then I will have this. Let's dynamesh it. Now it's cool. It was cool before, but now it's cooler. Cooler. And then I will get this certain part from inside, invert the mask by control clicking outside the object, and then this will be the legs, and I will dynamesh again. And I think that's completely good. Let's see. Okay, yeah, the legs will go like this here inside. And yeah, this obviously won't be visible because we will have a certain plane here in front and probably in the back also. But since we want everything to be perfect, I will do it, and I did it. So now about the plane. I will show you how we will do the plane. It's very easy because we can use almost anything. We can, for example, even from here we can extract one and make it a plane. We can take this, for example, and I will do this. So let's see this and just duplicate it. So duplicating meshes is just pressing this button, and delete will be this button. When we delete a mesh, it will ask us, this is not an undoable operation. Are you sure? I'm not sure. I don't want to delete this. I want to duplicate it. So be careful to check out what ZBrush is warning you. So duplicate will not get any warning because this is obviously an undoable operation. We can delete this and we will be left how we was or how we were. And now we are on this duplicated mesh. I will Control Shift click to isolate only this polygroup. Then I will Control Shift Alt drag. And then I will Control Shift Alt drag again those. And then I will be left with this del hidden. I will delete the rest. I will get my pivot, Alt click to get it here. And then I will Alt click here and here. And I will drag this again like this. And then we have this thing. This thing is not exactly perfect, but it will do. What I mean by it will do is that this is kind of a thing we need. So now it's not symmetrical, as you can see, it's lost its symmetry, but mirror and weld here will make it symmetrical again. It's very good button, that's why we have it there, because it's very easy to use it. We don't use it that often, but still it's very, I will show you where it is. So it's in geometry, modified topology, mirror and weld. So it's a little bit hidden. I like to have it there. And now I will go and zero mesh at 0, 1. And now we have this plane. This plane is what we want. And of course it is here, but it's not a problem because we'll get our pivot and just place it in front. And since this is our front plane, it should be flipped to be able to see it from the front, of course. Now we will just place it. Let's see. Okay, this is not good. If you want to make it narrower, you have to alt click on the pivot and move it to the center, as close to the center as possible, and then make it narrower, and then make it smaller like this, and move it. And basically we will have this kind of thing. I will increase my move brush and move it, and then move it maybe inward a bit more. And yeah, it's a little bit strange, but this is just a placeholder. We will probably make it better because there are 1, 2 planes there, so maybe we should make them like they are in the concept. Let's try to do that. How? I'm just moving. So this, I will again move my pivot to the center and make it narrower. Then I will zero mesh it at the lowest possible resolution, and I will zero mesh it until I get a good topology, because now my topology, especially here at the corners, is completely I don't know why, but it's complete bullshit. It's not good. So yeah, now it's getting better. But why? This is a corner here. Make it a corner. What is this? I'm not sure, but I'm clicking zero mesh until I get it. Or I wouldn't be able to get it, so I will do this. Very easy. Control Shift, drag, Control Shift Alt, drag, and we'll get this. Yeah, when some polygons just don't want to work, I delete them, and then, yeah. So del hidden, zero mesher again, and now it's fine. It's better, at least. So, this thing, I will make it flat again, like this. I will disable symmetry by clicking X and move it here. Then I can do two things. I can duplicate it and move it and make it smaller to make this piece, this here little piece, or I can do this. If you don't have subdivisions on your subtool, you can control click on this and move, and you will duplicate your geometry in the same subtool. So now this both are in the same subtool, but this is masked. So we will make this smaller and put it here and in front a bit. And these are same subtool. It's very cool. So this is used sometimes for teeth and other stuff. Monster teeth we can make, or whatever, even human teeth we can make. The other thing I want to do is solo this, and then with the standard brush I will go from up down, so without this, just to make some to look a little bit more interesting, some folds to make with the standard brush, with the normal standard brush, and then alt standard brush, and I'm making this kind of things. So this will look more interesting, not just flat thingy. And it's not perfect, but it will do for now. We can even pretend this is bigger at the top, and then at the bottom it became narrower, smaller. Yeah, and you can notice that I am doing everything that we have talked. I'm just rotating the model around, moving, and doing everything with some brushes that we know already. All the brushes we know. So it's nothing to talk about that much, because all the brushes are known to us already. this thing, I think we have to move it a bit up like this, because you see the shoulder is here and this part, the bottom part of the armor is very close to the shoulder. So you have to look at those things in order to make your concept work, because if you don't, your concept will be your model will be far away from the concept, and sometimes this is not a good thing, because sometimes you will lose the soul of the concept itself, and this concept has a lot of soul because of these things, you know. And now we will move the legs a bit upwards. How? Just pressing W. W will get our pivot. Then we'll press this button here on the far right of all the pivot buttons that are above the pivot. Pressing it will get us to select multiple subtools. So I'll remove my perspective because it's not good. And now you see I have only these tools selected. So I will make a selection with Control Shift outside, and then I will make a selection with Control Shift inside here. So I will get to be selected only the legs and this thing in front, and I will move them up like this. And then you can notice that this fist is going to end right under the knee area here, so it's exactly what we want. And now I just removed this, then Q to remove the pivot, and it's cool. So Q and W are very, very comfortable to use keys because they are very close to your left hand. So don't be afraid to use them to call the pivot and to call it out, to call it in and out. Yes. So the other thing I want to do is make sure that we have this lip also here in these things. How? Let's try with the standard brush just to push it with the big standard brush from distance. Maybe we can push it, or we can just move it with the move brush just little by little. And yeah, this is a hack. I mean, it's not like we are using a low poly, which we have to use probably, but it's working sometimes, and it's maybe a little bit faster, but probably we should do it with the low poly. But if I do this and then do a low poly, we will have already achieved what we need to achieve. I'm not sure we need a low poly here, but we'll see. Low poly means zero measure, of course. Probably we can do it or just sculpt. Sometimes if you are a traditional sculptor or something, you just want to sculpt. Don't want to mess up with this zero measure things and everything. Everything could be done with sculpting without those tools, but those tools are there to make your life more easy or easier. Because traditional sculptors, their life is miserable because they don't have symmetry, they don't have a zero measure, they don't have dynamesh, they don't have everything, so they have to do everything by hand, and those things they should do by hand. So yeah, but if you're a traditional sculptor, maybe you can do it by hand and still be happy with it. Who knows? So now I'm using various brushes, like pinch brush for example here with Alt, just to make this lip, as I said. Okay, now it's starting to look pretty nice. Let's make thickness for this particular thing. And yeah, we go to Z modeler brush, we go to some, let's polyframe to see, go to some polygon, press space, and now by default is Q mesh. We can try now, because I would go to extrude all polygons, but we can go to Q mesh, all polygons. Let's see what happens. It's the same as extrude with a few little differences, but I won't be able to explain you because there are just some cases that the Q mesh is different and it's better. But in some cases, when we just want to extrude, we better use extrude, you know. When we want to extrude with some things in mind, then we can use Q mesh. but in our case, extrude will give us the same result probably. Let's see, this is not flipped. Okay, I think we flipped it. So it's nice now. And now I will show you dynamic subdivision. When we have armors or hard surface like this, I always, when I make thickness, I always use dynamic subdivision to be able to see what will be the result of my mesh after I make subdivisions. So subdivisions are when we do this Control D or divide. When we subdivide it one, it will be 4 times as many polygons, it will be smoother. Then another time 4 times the polygons smoother and stuff like this. Every polygon gets divided by 4 when we divide. But if we don't want to subdivide but just see the result, we can dynamically subdivide. Dynamic subdivision is here. We open it and just press dynamic. Or we just press D on the keyboard and it will say, would you like to activate dynamic subdivision instead? Always yes, it's cool. So now this will be the result. But this, the dynamic menu, let's see it. Dynamic, on, off, now on. And we will use only dynamic and smooth subdiv. So how many levels of subdivisions it will make, but by not making them, but just visualize them. So it will be 4 levels, for example. It's fine, but it's a little bit smooth. It's not that good. So we go to crease. We'll use dynamic subdivision and crease at the same time. So here in crease, we will go always crease level 1 or crease level 2. And then tolerance 45 it will be and crease. That's all, that's it. Just 1 and crease. And now we see some corners appear. The crease now is making every angle bigger than 45 degrees here to be sharper by 1. If we make it 2, you will see crease how everything becomes sharper. And maybe 2 is better, but we have to increase the dynamic subdivision by 5, and let's see how it looks. Maybe 1 is better. Let's see 1 again. 1 crease. I'm not exactly sure which one is the best, but let's keep it at 1. We go to Z modeler brush because I want to make this corner also sharp. But since it's not bigger than it is. It's creased. Oh, interesting, very interesting. Why it's creased and it's not that sharp? I want it sharper here. So, if I want it sharper, I should go to crease level 2, for example, then go here, go to crease, edge loop complete. So, edge, I go to an edge, press space, crease, edge loop complete, and then press it. And then it will crease everything, but it will crease everything that it's this edge loop. But this edge loop is, let me see. Okay, so it creases every other crease also, but doesn't crease this, for example. Because we don't want this to be creased. Although it doesn't look super bad, but it's not as the concept. And I will inflate. Okay, saving. ZBrush is telling us by saving that we have to finish the video. But yeah, the crease level will be 1 at this point. I mean, 1 is, I think, better. And we can inflate the whole model like this. This is not the whole model, but just those shoulders. And how we can make them sharper on those edges, we have to add edges by going to Z modeler brush, then going to an edge, press space, insert, single edge loop, and we insert an edge loop here, insert an edge loop here. And now they are sharper as they should be. And of course, we can always go to our move brush, and just fix what we think it should be fixed. And of course, that's not all. We can always move and fix. The thing is that we don't have real subdivisions here, which is cool. This is our model basically, and this is just a show of subdivisions. How I do this? Getting to this or this again. It will shift D is one subdivision down, and D is subdivision is basically lower less shift D, and higher res is D. You know, and since we don't have higher less res, it's going to dynamically subdivide. We will continue in the next video, but now our model is starting to work. I think you have knowledge already for the basic things, and we will continue a little bit in a faster pace, probably. Yes. Hello guys, it's me again. I know it's getting a little bit ridiculous that I'm always here, but yeah, it just has to be. So now I'm seeing this and I'm noticing that this thing is a bit smaller. So let's make it bigger. When you want to make something bigger but only on one side, you just get with Alt your pivot on the top of it, and when you drag this, it will just scale the rest of it down from the pivot center. So we want it to be at least through here. Then we will start making the hand or the arms. But first, let's just pay a little bit of attention to what? To the shoulder. Because the shoulder, I noticed that this shoulder is going up like this one, but this shoulder is going down. It's almost horizontal here. So let's try and make it a bit like this. And it's lagging a bit. Why? Because we are on a big Dynamesh level. And also we have subdivisions. I can't believe that. So we will delete subdivisions. This means here that we have subdivisions and also we have dynamic subdivisions. Then it is lagging. So first I will go to my first subdivision, and second we have just two. But we go to the lowest and then del higher, and now we don't have higher subdivision. We don't have any subdivision except for the dynamic one, and we are okay. That's what we want, at least for now. What else we want to do? We want to increase this flat area here, this flat area, because we will put some spikes there, but it will not be now. I want to just take the hand and start making it. So I will press this solo button here in the bottom. And the solo button is button is very important. It will allow us to work on the hand very easily, on the arm. Okay. So now I will go to Dynamesh and Dynamesh it. Let's try at 45 resolution, for example. 48, okay, no problem. 48 will be nice, and you'll see what happens here. And I can easily delete this and then mirror. So I will do that. I will go to my, if I try to hide this, because deleting is basically hiding and then del hidden. If I try to hide this, you know, with Control Alt Shift drag, I cannot do it because it's symmetrical. So I will disable symmetry by pressing X and then hide this, then del hidden, and then I will press symmetry again, although I don't have any symmetry. So I didn't tell you about the local symmetry. So the symmetry basically, if we go to the floor, is the normal symmetry is, this is the center of the normal symmetry. I'm sorry that I'm stuttering, but sometimes when I'm very excited, I do that. So this is the center of the symmetry. This is the normal center of the symmetry. But when we are on local symmetry, the center becomes the center of the object itself. So the object is from here to here, and then the center is somewhere in the middle. So that's why we don't need symmetry now. We will disable the floor also, and we will work only on this model. We will start to make some thumb. Then we will make 1, 2, 3 fingers. We'll make some things here. We'll smooth everything. Yeah, making the hand from from nothing. It's not an easy and super easy task. It requires a bit practice, and if you want, you can practice on this model, you know, because this model is pretty easy. At least it looks easy. It's not exactly super easy, but it's, yeah. So let's see, we will have a thumb here, and then this finger will be there, and the thumb. And I'm basically, I like to put some geometry, to put some like clay, with the clay tubes brush. The clay buildups brush, there's a clay buildup brush, which can also do this work, but I don't use it that often, which is probably a mistake. But if you want to try it, just try it, clay buildup brush. It's a very good brush for this kind of work. But for now, let's take our dumb standard brush and try to achieve some things here. So this will be like this, and then it will come through here. Okay, I'm just with Alt, I'm doing this. If you are using your your dumb standard brush with without modification, by default it will be on Z sub. I told you that. So by default you will subdivide with it. Not subdivide. You will subtract. Not add, but subtract. So Z sub or Z add, you know. Now I'll press 4 to get my move brush. Move here, then smooth. Moving, smoothing, and adding geometry. That's what I'm doing here. Yeah, this fist can be done by making fingers stretched and then pull them together, but it will be a lot, I think, a lot difficult to make this fist. It will require a lot more things, although, yeah, but no, let's make it like this and we'll see how it goes, but I think it will be okay. Yeah, for like 5 minutes already, we have something that resembles a fist, so it's not that difficult. Yeah, if you don't have anything that resembles a fist in 5 minutes, don't be discouraged, because I have a lot of practice of making fists, and although I have a lot of practice, I still am not able to make a decent fist for less than 5 minutes. So yeah, probably for you it will be 30 minutes or something like this, which is not exactly too much. So just bear in mind, I'm a professional, and I'm not saying don't try this at home. On the contrary, try this at home. It's important to try this at home or at work, whatever. It's it's up to you where you want to try this at. So I think it's kind of good. We have to bear in mind that in one of the hands we will hold, he will hold, we will not, obviously, but he will hold a sword. So we'll have to have that in mind. I'll make this a bit more in this area, smooth. Then with dumb standard brush, take this. I will make this separate mesh, probably this thing, which will go up to here, and this will be the elbow armor. I'm just marking where the things will be, and probably I will make them separately, except if I like them like this. We'll see. Maybe I will say, okay, they are pretty good like this, and I will leave them. But yeah, it's up to us, you know, we decide. It's not exactly a rocket science. We just need to decide whether we want to make it from polygons or from separate polygons, or just leave it like this. I want to make pronounced elbow here, because this is an elbow armor and it's more pronounced, and it will give us a better silhouette here. or there, or anywhere, for that matter. I'm sorry if my mount is not too much visible sometimes, because when I sit on my chair, I tend to collapse a little bit by little, and yeah, I will go up a bit. Now I think it's better. Okay, we see the arm is starting to look nice. Let's see it compared to the other part of the body. Okay, it should be more in the front. So I will get my pivot by pressing W. I'll move it here where is the shoulder. And then move it forward. This way it will be like in the concept, a little bit in front of the legs. Let's see if it's too big. I'm always comparing. It's not too big. I think it's kind of the right size, but we'll see. So the thing is that I'm noticing here, and you probably are too, that we have the elbow here, the elbow armor, and this armor, and everything is visible, and here it's not. Probably everything should go down a bit more. So the elbow should be way down. It's not very, yeah, you know, because if the shoulder is here, then this is too big. And yeah, in 2D, some things are looking one way, and in 3D, they don't look like that good, you know. So we'll have to be careful about that too. So now let's make some shoulder muscle and the biceps, but they should be very, very, very stylized. So we don't need them that much, because this is all an armor, and probably he has some kind of an armor below that. But who knows, maybe he doesn't have, and he has just a muscle. You don't have to do this, of course. I'm doing it just for my own fun, because I like to do anatomy, and you can see that in my YouTube channel. I have a lot of anatomy videos, not that much, but I have some. I have a video how to make a hand from cube for I think 30 minutes or an hour, I'm not sure, maybe 30 minutes. I have female and male head videos, how to make a male head from sphere for 1 hour, and how to make a whole male body from sphere for 1.5 hours with fingers and everything. So yeah, it's kind of fast, but don't worry, I have trained a lot for those videos. I have prepared for those videos for, yeah, they're just hour or 1.5 hour videos, but I have prepared for months, yeah, weeks, let's say weeks for those videos. So yeah, and my YouTube channel of course is Speed Char, like yeah, the same with the logo, like those videos here. You can check it out. So if you have gone this far into the tutorial, it's good for you because you already know most of the things that you should know to just start sculpting. And if you don't know something, you just can go back and see the tutorial about it, the video about this particular thing, masking or moving around, navigating in ZBrush and stuff, and you will be okay, I think. If not, you can always ask me. I can help you with little advices here and there. It's not a problem, of course. Yeah, the idea of these videos is for people to learn and to be able to know and to be able to work with ZBrush to express their creativity. Like I always say, express your creativity with ZBrush is very good. So you can try that. If you like it, better. You can watch my other tutorials. They are more advanced, of course. I don't explain that deeply masking or polygroups or everything. I'm just forward working and yeah, showing how to make a realistic character, for example, in ZBrush. How to make an orc. I have one tutorial, but those tutorials, I've sold them. I mean, they are made for other party, so it's not me I'm selling them, but you can watch them anyway. They are useful, so yeah, I'm not getting money from them, but it doesn't matter. What matters is for you to learn. If you want to learn, if you like my voice, and if you like my English, probably not. Some people like my English. Why? My English is good mostly for foreigners. I mean people that don't speak English in their mother language, you know. The other people that their mother language is English, they don't like my English at all because it's too much accent for them. But for Russians, for Serbians, even for Spanish speaking people, I think it's good enough and it's pretty understandable. I think I'm gonna sneeze. It's very unprofessional. Good. I'm sorry about that. But you know, I in my videos I try to explain things and everything. I don't keep this formal attitude or something. I just like to speak freely about a lot of things. That's just my style. So I tend to do things that other people are not doing. Sometimes I even sing. You're lucky that I don't feel like singing now, because my singing is not my best skill, obviously. It's not obviously because I'm an artist, so I could be able to sing eventually if I was able to sing, but I'm not. So let's Dynamesh and see what happens here. And we have a decent, not perfect, but decent hand. Arm. I'm always saying hand while I mean arm, but whatever, it's normal. And you notice that I'm moving just a little bit the things just to see what's what. Because when we have something, when we already have something, we can easily move it around and do something with it. And if we don't have anything, we can't. So now, let's do what? Let's separate probably this part and make them a separate meshes. But this will be if we like the hand. We don't yet like it, because after we separate the meshes, it will be a little bit difficult to move them together. It will not be super problematic, but I like for everything to be clear before I start separating. The fist is never straight, it's always like an arch. Especially if it's clenched very, very tightly. If you look at your own fist, for example, like this, you will notice this is an arch. It's not like straight, it's arching. From below also a little bit of an arch. Yeah, it has to be interesting looking. So it shouldn't be straight something. It should be an arch, probably. And now we have the hand, the arm. Let's mirror it, just mirror and OK. And it's looking great, I think. Let's move this armor so it's covering more here. And we don't have time for anything else in this video, but now our model is starting to look pretty good because of the hands. And yeah, they were the last thing that we haven't done at all. And we have the cape. Maybe in the next video we will make some cape. And probably we will start making the sword. We'll see if we will have time. But for now, yeah, we have made the hands, the arms. We may also want to refine them a bit more. But we'll see, we'll see. I don't know what we will do in the next video because I still haven't made it. So yeah, go ahead and see what we have decided to do. Bye. So let's talk about something else here. What do I want to talk about? It's about how your model is looking in the beginning and how it will look at the end. So in the beginning, as you saw, it was looking too bad, and that was not something that I'm afraid of. I mean, that was not frightening me. I was just keep doing what I have to do, and suddenly the models start to appear pretty nicely. And you are seeing that with your own eyes, because now this is the video number 13, fatal number, so probably we will do something very bad with the model and the model will be ruined. I'm joking, of course, it's not gonna happen because I have saves, and unless my hard drive just explodes, probably we will be okay. But we need to make the cape. So how to make the cape? It's pretty easy to make the cape these days. And I will show you how we can append again something. Now you will see how many subtools we have and how many. There I think 17 or 27, I cannot say exactly, but we have, no, this is not, this is our mesh. Let's see, visible count. Okay, we have 9. Okay, it's not too much. 9 subtools, or 8 or 9. Yeah, let's say 9. Okay, we will add one more. And how to add subtool? We go here in the subtool menu, or in the tool, subtool, because subtool is here. Subtool, we open it, and we go to append. I always append instead of insert, because insert I think will replace, but I'm not sure, and I always use append. So let's use append. And now we are in this menu. We can make those spikes on the shoulders from here, but we don't need that. We need a plane 3D. Let's click it. And now we have this plane. Where is it? It's in the head. You can see it below the head here. When I step on it or just press on it, you can see it, it's behind the head. What we'll do is, when we are on it, we'll press W to get the pivot and move it back. And from the back view, we will see nothing. Why? Because this is a plane, it's one-sided. So we'll have to look it from here and we will be able to see it. Other thing that I wanna pay attention to is that the background, let's forget the cape for a minute. The background is a bit light. Let's make it a bit darker. How to make the background darker in ZBrush? Very good question. We go to document, and here you can see nothing because it's a little bit hidden. It's here, back, you know, document, background color. Even now, these days, when I haven't changed the background too often, I forget where it is. And even I cannot see it, like I open document and say, it was not here. I open draw and I say, it was not here. Where was it? And I notice, okay, it's here. It's a little bit hidden, but what you have to do to change the background is click on it and nothing happened. So click and hold. And I'm holding now either the mouse button or I'm just pressing the tablet. And now I'm moving, and the color that this pic moves on will be the color of our background. So I usually go to one of my materials here, and from there I can check my color if I want it to be more black or something. Let's make it a little bit darker like this. So this will give us a bit more contrast for our model to see it better. And now I cannot see good the plane, but whatever. I've shown you how to change your background color. Now it will be like this. of course, when you restart ZBrush, it will be back to the default. And there's a way to change that, but well, we don't have to talk about it yet. Also, I want to talk about the perspective here a little bit. So from Draw menu here, from Draw we don't use anything here, anything. We will use the perspective. It's the same button like here, perspective, like this one. It's the same. So if you, for example, enable customize and get rid of your perspective button, and you don't have perspective, yeah, you can press P. One press will be disabled in perspective and the other will be enabling, but you won't be able to see it exactly. So you go to Draw and you get the perspective with Control Shift, Control Alt, and put it back there. So yeah, there's a way of everything. The perspective now is 50. By some standard it's 50. If we do it 18, it will be super big. If we do 85, it will be very moderate. 50 is, for this character, is kind of good. But this is, I'm just showing you how to make this. Then I will go to this plane here and make it double. When I make it double, I will be able to see it from whatever. And now, yeah, if you already don't know what this menu is, when I'm always checking stuff, this is the custom menu, ZZ custom that we have made in one of the first videos, and I'm calling it from Control Shift Alt A because it's very close, the A, and it's not associated with any other things associated A, so it's fine. So now I'm making this a cape. I'm putting it in, I'm putting it out, and it's now kind of a cape looking with a big move brush and symmetry. I turned on symmetry just now. I will be able to make it a better cape, better than ever. What else we want to make? Since the cape is touching the ground and then it's going outward, it's going back, I'll do that. How? It will be difficult, but we will manage probably. I have to mask this area here. Then control click on the object. Then invert the mask with control click outside the object. Then control click again on the object to make this kind of feather of the mask. And now I'll press my pivot, put it down where the mask is, around here, and then rotate. And you can see how it goes like this. And now I'll probably will make a bigger mask, feather it again, and just pull this everything down like this. And since it will be lower than the legs, I will go ahead and use again the secret brush, which is Control Shift, press here, up here. Up here, you see it? Yeah. Clip curve brush. And at the whole time I'm holding Control Shift. Now I'm dropping it. Now I'm pressing Control Shift again. And yes. If you drag this the other way around, you will make a big mistake. Not that big. But still, you see. Now we have this. It's pretty good. We can make it like that. And probably we should make some little bit of a folds in there. Because it will look too... not good. So let's zero mesh it first. Go to 0, 1, target polygon count, zero mesh it. Let's see how much polygons it is. It's a little bit lower on polygons and the folds will be not very easy to make. So let's increase this at 0.45, for example. Now it's kind of better. And now I will disable symmetry because folds with symmetry are not very good. And with the standard brush, I'm just trying to make the folds work. So I'm imagining the folds from up here coming, and they will go straight down. There's no way the folds will go other direction, straight down, and then it will touch the ground and they will curve or do something like this. We'll see, but probably a curve. And I'm just testing the waters, just testing to see how this will work, or is it gonna work at all. Probably it will. Moving those folds, maybe moving them up inwards a bit over the other. But yeah, you can make this with Marvelous Designer if you know how. It will be pretty easy to make this thing. But with ZBrush, we have to just rely on some references or some imagination. But you'll have to have very good imagination to beat a reference, of course. And I'm not using reference now, since this is a kind of cartoon character, so we don't need too much folds. We just need them on the right places. Kinda right places. We even don't need them on very much right places, you know. We just have to make some folds. And don't make any other type of folds. It's a cape. It's holding itself only here, and then on the ground, and there cannot be folds like, for example, like this here. No, it's impossible. It will be just downwards and then like this. And it's a little bit boring, I know. So I will make them downward, but then a little bit on the side, because otherwise they will be parallel, and parallel things are pretty boring, especially on organic surfaces. If you're making a robot, yeah, parallel things, no problem, but organic, problem. Okay, touching the horns a bit. So we have made this cape, and it's not ready, of course. Let's press D to dynamically subdivide it. Yeah, we dynamically subdivided the horns, but it's okay. Let's subdivide the cape also. It's looking kind of good. Of course, it's not exactly looking perfect here, but probably when we accept the subdivisions, we can make it work kind of better. Because now we don't have enough polygons to make it look good. And as you can see, I'm changing between various brushes to achieve my goals. So if you wanna become better in ZBrush, you have to learn to change your brushes. And I'm changing brushes constantly. That's why I need these shortcuts, short keys. Without them, I will be ultra slow. It will just, you know, I'm thinking of something to do, and if I have to go ahead and change the brush from here, or go even through this menu, the brush menu, it will be hell. I cannot stand it, you know. That's why I use this this kind of methodology. Let's disable customize, because it is making our canvas a bit smaller than it used to be, than it has to be. And here, I think it's fine, but we can push it a bit down and move this like that. Like that. Okay, I kind of like it. Let's make the dynamic subdivision on the... Ooh. My face is also, again, not visible. Sorry about that. But you don't need my face, you know. You hear my voice, which is cool, I think. So it's cool. But if you like my face, thank you. And let's continue. We have a few things that are still low poly and they are not dynamically subdivided. So let's dynamically subdivide this. Pressing D. It's not looking good. We have to crease. I always crease, so it's not a problem. We go to crease at 1. Don't crease it more, because it will be awful. It will be super sharp, and super sharp corners are never good. never make super sharp corners in 3D. The corners should be sharp enough, but not super sharp, because they have to take this kind of a specular on them. But you will notice that this is a very good advice I'm giving you, so don't waste it. Now I will crease, and it's fine, but we need to make it thicker, I think. Alright, that looks fine. The other thing is, I will Shift D to disable this. I'll need a lip here. So in order to make this lip, I will go to Z Modeler and let's see, insert single edge loop. That's what I need. I'll insert an edge loop here, and then I will mask these areas here. I'm control masking, and I think I have masked. Yeah, I think I've masked them. Then I will control click to reverse the mask. Now I need my pivot here, but it's gone. So I'll alt click here, and then I'll move this, then probably rotate it a bit, and then move it again. And then while we have this kind of a base, I will move with the move brush from below, from every possible angle, to see how this works. That's why, and I always say that, of course, it's extremely important that you can navigate rotating, moving, panning, zooming, everything you should be able to do. But you won't be able to do it if you don't practice it. So if you are starting this model with me and you are working with me, you'll probably at the end will be kind of used to the way ZBrush works, which is perfect. And that's why you have to do it. Then I will crease this, because you see when I press D to go to dynamic subdivision, we don't have a corner here and we need it. So I'll go to one edge, press space, crease, edge loop complete, it's pressed, and I will press here. And now I will have a little bit of an edge. Of course, when we accept the subdivisions, we can make a bigger edge or whatever. Let's try to make an edge here to see what happens. Why not? It's fine. I like it. Not the best, but I like it. So let's see it now. Not very nice, because this helmet is going inward. But it's easier for me just to increase it forward, or just increase it forward is very good thing to say. It's a very strange face. I think we should make a face below this, below the mask, which should be a bit more interesting and sympathetic. Who knows? We can make something very good, or the opposite. We can make something pretty bad. So let's go to the armor, just alt click on it to select it from the subtools. You can see I'm very good at almost everything, but at just browsing through the subtools without going at all here. I don't work here almost. Sometimes I need this to see to select my newest things that I have added, but most of the time I'm working in my area here, and I even can work with like this without most of the interface, which is kind of clean. This is when you press tab, so don't be scared, because sometimes you will press tab just without intention, and don't be scared if this happens. Just press tab again and it will be okay. That's good to know. That's a good tip, I think. So now, what else we might do? We might end this video, and let's press perspective. Let's see. It's starting to look almost exactly like the concept, not perfectly like the concept, of course. It will require a lot more work to look perfectly, but probably we will even not make it look exactly like the concept. We'll make it kinda like the concept, because the idea of this tutorial is not to make this perfect. The idea is to learn the basics of ZBrush, learn the things that you will definitely need to sculpt with ZBrush in the beginning and at the end also. The end is the beginning is the end. Make this sharper. It will look interesting, sharp, I think. Yes. So for now, this will be our thing. We will continue next time, either with the hands, the arms, or maybe we could work a little bit on the sword. It will be interesting. So don't miss it. Here we are again. This time it will be again for 20 minutes. So this time is like the last time. It's like every time. Let's try and press D while we are on the body armor. Press D. Ooh, it's looking pretty nice. But we will also do something else. Let's crease it. But let's see which is in the middle. Okay, we have a middle here, which is fine. And I will do this. I will get it solo because it will be easier to work with the solo. Then go to Z Modeler. Go to the middle edge and press space. While holding space, crease, edge loop complete. Press those two and then crease it. But it's not gonna be very good because you see it's super sharp, it doesn't have any specular. So Control Z. Why? Because the crease is equal to the crease level here, which is 15, which is a lot. It will be the sharpest. So we'll go to 1. And then crease, and then press D to see what's happening. It's not quite good, but we will have to increase the dynamic subdivisions to see. Let's increase it to 4. And it's not exactly perfect again. So it's not very good, especially in this area here in the front. But it's not bad either. I mean, it's not the best. So let's try at 2. Crease it at level 2. Let's go to 2. Here. 2. Enter. And just press. And now it's a bit better. And I think this will be nice. Let's now try to make this work. Because until the middle area, it should be more straight. Everything should be straighter before the middle area. Okay, we can crease this also, but this is not looking very good here. I don't know why. Let's see. Okay, the topology of all those things is not very good because it's not good. It's not good, even worse than not good. Let's try it with the lesser topology and to see what's going on. Oh, it's amazingly bad. So let's try it with a little bit more, but not too much. 0.2, for example. Wow, this is completely not good. So yeah, it's difficult. So what I want is to have lines along this line here, along here. Let's try something else. I will show you something here, which is very interesting. When you zero mesh, which is this thing here, zero mesher. Yeah, when you zero mesh, you can put guidelines to guide the zero mesher to put edge loops there. So we go to B and select zero mesher guideline brush. How to find it? It's Z and then zero mesher guides. Zero mesher guides, press it, and now we can drag guidelines where we want them to be. Exactly on those lines. If we are able to have the edge loops going exactly on these lines, we will be in a very great shape. But let's see, it's sometimes it doesn't work exactly as planned. So we just have to hope it will work. Just a little bit of a hope. And I'm not using those guidelines too often. I rarely use them. But sometimes when I want a good topology on some places, I just use them. So we have them now. Let's try to zero mesh. Just zero mesh when the guidelines are active. And it's absolutely hideous. If we can say hideous, it's hideous. And it's definitely hideous. It's not very good. Although, yeah, it's not very good, obviously. But the thing is that the lower poly count we have, the better it will be to adjust our geometry. So maybe we should work with this kind of polygons that we have, for example, now. Let's try this. Let's go to our move brush. So the Z guidelines sometimes work, sometimes don't work that much. In this case that we had, they didn't work. But in some cases, I'm just showing them to you to know that they exist. You can check them out, you can test them. For you, in some cases they could work, in some not that much. Yeah, here we have a problem, obviously, which is a big problem, and I don't know if we can decide, if we can fix this problem, but let me see now. I don't want these polygons here, so I will connect them together, and then I will weld points. And I think they have welded, which is kind of good. Then I will go to Z modeler, go to a point. At this point we haven't got to a point yet. So go to a point, press space, and then stitch. And then press 1, 2. And they are stitched. And then press, again go to Z modeler, stitch, press 1, and then press 2. And we are good. Draw size, I just made it 0. I will make it bigger. This menu sometimes appears, not sometimes, every time appears when you press space and you are not on the model. You press space, it appears this menu. You have this, you have to select colors and stuff. I don't use it that much, this menu, but it's fine. It's fine that it appears. So with the move brush, we'll try to make this exactly what we want it to be. Just with the move brush, and arm yourself with not only move brush but patience, and we can do it. Patience will be greatly required here. Okay. Yeah, and since we have very little poly count, very less polygons, or not so many polygons, if we can say so, we have a greater control over everything. Of course, here this becomes very, very bad, and yeah, I don't like it, of course. This is not good, but we don't have a choice now, because we already have started doing this. And if we zero mesh now, it will be to start from all over again, and this won't be that visible probably in the long run, so we might be cool with this. Yeah, from afar we just get the backside. If it was visible, and because it wouldn't be because of the cape, but if it was visible, we would be in a lot of trouble. Yeah, I'm saying it because it's like this. We could do something else. We could delete some of the polygons. For example, let's do it. Let's delete, oops. We have to go here with Control Shift and change our brush to select rectangle, and then Control Alt Shift and drag until we delete those polygons. And we need to delete those too, but we will delete them manually. I will show you how. Let's del hidden because we don't need them. Del hidden. Here in the back, let's see what we have. Yeah, they won't be that visible. And we will delete all those polygons in the bottom here. So let's do it by going to a polygon, press space while we are on Z modeler brush, of course, delete a single poly and start to delete some polygons here. And of course, when we delete all those polygons, we have an island, and we can delete the whole island. We just change the action to delete an island, which is absolutely legit. We can delete also this edge loop here, and we will be fine. And this edge loop was let me think a bit. How I deleted this edge loop, you will ask. I deleted it by accident. No, I deleted it when because I am now on insert single edge loop. But how I deleted it? With Alt. Because now I created, with Alt I deleted. So this is the Alt version of this brush. Okay, move. Yeah, this takes a lot of time, obviously, and it shouldn't, but it does. So I think it's cool, but it's better to be having a good topology and then, you know, than to have bad topology. Wow, so wise, so wise. I don't know why, how I got this, you know, super, you know, wise things. Let's go to delete again single poly and delete those, and I think we are ready for thickness. So now we will use it to make thickness, but not now. Let's first make it a little bit more, you know, interesting. Not interesting, but to look better, at least. I think it's looking fine, but let's see. Okay, it's okay. We will crease and it will look fine. So for now, I would need to make a thickness. So the thickness will be great. I mean, big thickness. Let's do this. So extrude all polygons and inward. Big thickness, and then flip it. And now we have this thing which is more like an armor. And I appreciate it more. And this is better, except for this part here, but hopefully this part will forgive us, because it will be kind of difficult to do it. So we'll leave it like this. Very bad and very heavy decision of our side, but we have to make it because we don't have a choice. But yeah, let's make it. We have a little bit of time, so we can try to do it. How to fix this? So we go to we're going to delete some polygons here. Delete a single poly, this, and this, and now we have to just connect them together. Let me see how we can do this connection. It will be difficult because we have between this part. We can try to erase it. Let's try Alt. Hopefully we haven't deleted something important. Okay, and from here also we can erase this, and it doesn't matter too much. And now we can connect them by going to an edge, for example this edge, then go to a bridge and just press this one and then press this one. It doesn't happen, so again press this one and then press this one, and now it had happened. Now press this one. It's difficult to press them because we have a lot of edges behind, and it's pretty difficult, but if you got it, maybe with the mouse will be easier. No, I haven't got it. Let's do this. No, I don't know. Working now. Let's try it again. Oops, it has happened. Now it is good. And now I will connect this point. I will stitch it. Okay, I will stitch this point to this point. And now it's kind of working. I mean, it's barely good looking. Not quite perfect, but it's, like I said, bearable. Maybe bearable, it's a good thing to say. Let's try to Dynamesh it. No, not Dynamesh. Dynamesh, never Dynamesh. we will dynamically subdivide it, and then we crease. Let's try it too. Okay. We have something here. Let's crease some other things here. Crease, edge loop complete this one. Very good. Let's crease this one. Also good. We don't care about those things because they are not visible. We only care about these things here. And they're looking pretty good. Let's crease also this area, and it's starting to look pretty awesome. I don't know if you understood even half of the things that I did to make this armor look fine. But if you did, thanks to the explanations beforehand of about those things, it will be just amazing. And this will mean that you already are pretty familiar with ZBrush and its functions. And that is what we wanted to achieve, of course. So now we will push this inwards. So we'll get this kind of a thing. Let's see it. It's looking kind of good. It's not the best, but it's not the worst either. So it's kind of in between. We see that here we have some empty space behind the head, and also empty space where the legs are, but this in the legs we don't care. We care about this one. So we will put a sphere under the head to be able to fill this space. Let's append here from subtool, append sphere 3D, and it's kind of somewhere there, the sphere. We will find it in the bottom of our subtool menu. Yes, and where is it? It's just behind the head. So I will pull it down with W. Of course, I'm calling my pivot. I'll make it bigger. I'll pull it back, and then with the move brush and symmetry, I will push it backwards here also, so it will be just behind the head, barely visible. And this, I think, is pretty nice looking already. So we are on the right path here, hopefully. And one thing we have, which is still low poly, is those not shoulders, those things on the legs. So the knee armor, and I will have to press D, and then, which is dynamic subdivision, of course, it's D, go to 4, crease it at 1, crease, and then we have to crease it manually with Z modeler. Just crease this, and probably also this. And it's starting to look not very good, but not very bad. We can refine it later, of course. Other thing we want to do is press D on this and see what happens. It's not super perfect, but I think we can handle this. We can make it a bit like this. It doesn't have to be that sterile, yeah. And what else we can do is maybe start working on the hands. But the hands are a little bit tricky because this hand will be like this, like it is now. But the other hand will have to pose, but it's not the problem. I will show you how to pose. Even with a lot of subtools, we'll be able to pose. And now our model is starting to look pretty awesome. Let me show you in the next video how to make those spikes here. I will show you 2 ways to make the spikes. One you know already, to append a cone and then put it with the pivot to rotate it, to move it until it fits where we want it to be. Maybe there's another way. Let's see, B. And then we go to some primitives. We have to have primitives here. I'm not sure where exactly they are, but we should find them at some point. Yeah, they're here. So let's see if we have a cone. Basically, we don't have a cone here. Let's see the other primitives. We don't have a cone here either. And that's unfortunate because it will be easier if we had a cone in there. But if we don't worry if you don't have some of these brushes, because some of them mesh insert dot. Okay, we have this. Let's press M. No. So what's going on? Oh, it's not good. Okay, we will not work with this. Okay. So this will be for this video. I will show you how to make those conical spikes. Maybe in the next video or something else. We'll see. Nobody knows, but we'll see. So, bye for now. So this video will be very exciting because I will show you 3 ways of making those kind of spikes here on the shoulders. So first way is very straightforward. We will go to our subtool palette, then append, here, append, and then we go to a cone 3D. Nice. Let's try it, cone 3D. And the cone is appearing here inside, so we will just click on it here on the subtool menu, on the subtools. Maybe we can increase the count of the subtools. This increase count subtools of the subtools menu is appearing first time, I think, in ZBrush 2019. So if you have lower version of ZBrush, you might think of upgrading because this is comfortable. Now we can click on it, and then we have to move it around this area. So this will be done by how? Think about it. Pressing W to get this the pivot and just dragging it here. So this will be one of our, let's turn on polyframe here. This will be one of our spikes. The thing is that this is not looking super nice, but let's try it. Let's press D to subdivide it, and it's super sharp, and it's not maybe the best option. We can of course decrease the sharpness by going to Z modeler brush, the Z modeler brush, and then insert single edge loop, and with Alt we will just delete some edge loops like this. Let's try it now. Okay, it will be a bit better, but this is a bit not that good. And then we might have to, of course, make it little, make it smaller, and then with Alt rotate it. But since I'm rotating with perspective, it will be a bit difficult, but not a problem. Yeah. Now we can rotate by the red axis and then put it where it belongs, here. So this is one of the ways we can make our spikes. The thing is that I have to make them a bit smaller. We need adjustments, but with all of the ways that we can make them, we will need to make those kind of adjustments. Just doing. Notice that with the move tool, with this this 3D pivot, the thing is that with the white circle, you're rotating according to your camera. So the white circle is always straightforward to our camera. We can rotate, and with others, they're always to the axes. So it's up to you which one you will use. So now I think this is it. And how to make it appear on the other places? It will be manual with all the ways that we will do it. It will be manual. Control and drag will give us another instance, which we can put like this, rotate, and just put it in the right place. Okay, then again put our camera like this, because if you do it like that, it's not a problem, but you will need to rotate again. So yeah, rotate, put it here, and put it inward with the green. Yes, and then another one, control drag, rotate, rotate without control, and maybe one more, control drag, rotate, put it here, and that's the first way we can do this. And I will show you other ways, which will be basically the same as we'll have to put them over. So in order to get out of the mask, you just, you know, it was masked, everything but the last one. We just control drag outside the object and we get rid of the mask. Now this is that we have a very sharp area here, which I don't like, but we can always smooth it, and it would be a little bit smarter to smooth it before we start to multiply it, but whatever, it's just the way it is. So what else we might do? Let's just with one big move brush just put it on the right path. It looks fine. We can of course mirror and okay, and it will be like this, and you will see how this little detail is making the model look a bit more interesting. So it's fine, but we will delete it. Okay, it's no more here, and we don't have save, so we're doomed. But we will try something else. So first, we may make, this will be a little bit complicated, not too much, but let's hear me out. Just you need to be aware that this is an option. You don't need to do it, but just be aware that this is an option. I will just push this a bit inwards because it's too much interfering with the shoulder in this area. So a little bit like this. And I think now it's better. So the next way is to copy, to duplicate whatever part we want from the object. For example, I can duplicate the shoulders. So duplicate the shoulders, and now we are on the duplicate of the shoulders. And now we go to our pivot with W, press W, and then we go to this customize menu here, which is this green gear, this gear. Press it, and then we can get cone 3D here. We can get another things. So what this do is this will convert our object that we are currently on to one of those primitives here, which is kind of useful because we can control them better from here. I will show you. So press it, and sorry, symmetry. Okay, we will disable symmetry and try again. Maybe with symmetry it doesn't work. Okay, so now we have this cone. Sometimes it makes it very small, but we have it here. So you won't see it because it's there, but if you press W again, you will have the option to make it bigger and put it here, for example. And now I like this cone a little bit better. So now press W again on the cone itself and press it again. So you'll have these options here. Let's turn on this and Shift D to disable dynamic subdivisions. Now we have the options on all these primitives here. We have the option to just make this, you know, to add, and here also we don't need that much polygons for this, especially on pieces like this cone that we will multiply a couple of times. I prefer to have control over the poly count. So the other cone that we had before is this poly count, and when we subdivide it enough, it will be a lot of polygons. This one in the beginning will start with a lot less polygons, which I think is cooler. So now I can go ahead and remove my perspective just to be able to move this point backwards a bit, so it will be not that sharp. Okay, and then I will press D to subdivide it. Now it looks more like from this area, because those spikes are not super sharp, you know. And I told you nothing in ZBrush should be very sharp. So this is the other way we can do it. And now we can, of course, place it as exactly like the other one here. We can just do this and then just control drag and place it and stuff. But we will leave this. We'll disable the visibility of it, and I will show you the other way, which is very simple and very fast way. But for this we'll need to duplicate the shoulders again because I don't want to use that way. I prefer to use the way that I have shown you just now. But I will show you the other way. So duplicate the shoulders, then solo them. So now we are on the duplicate shoulders. The other ones are there, but the duplicates are here. So now there's a little bit new thing. So now we have dynamic subdivisions. We don't have real subdivisions. We have dynamic subdivisions, and there are 5 of them. Maybe they are too much, but we'll see. We can apply those subdivisions and they will appear here as real subdivisions. Let's try it. Apply, and now we have 6 total subdivisions. We can drag them here, or we can press D to go up subdivisions, or Shift D to go down. You see here how they change. D a couple of times, Shift D, Shift D, Shift D, until we go down. So we go up with a couple of times D, and then we have symmetry, and then we just make this a masks on the places that we want those spikes. That's very easy. Then we reverse the mask by control clicking outside the object, and then with simple move brush we go press with Alt and drag, and it will go like this, and then we can smooth it. Of course it's not exact science here, but you see what I mean, how you can do it. Press with Alt and just drag, and then smooth with Shift. Just smooth with Shift, smooth with Shift. And this is not the most, how do I say, elegant way, but it's working, and also makes our spikes more cartoonish, more what we want them to be, and that's very, very cool. But for this we need to apply subdivisions, to have real subdivisions, which is a little bit not that, how do I say, flexible, not that flexible. So yeah, you will decide which way to use. I can use this, and then I can, for example, remove symmetry, make this, smooth it, and this will be good. You see, with the clay tubes I'm just making some places where his armor is eaten by bugs. No, it was chipped, so it's cool. It's chipped to some places, and this is a stylized way of making kind of armor damage. Yes, and we can also make some real damage with the normal brush, but it doesn't. We don't need to do it. Let's see everything and remove the other shoulders, and I think I can keep that shoulders. I show you the other ways, and I like the result of this way the most, so I will keep it for now. We have the other shoulder. If we need it, I just disable the visibility of it, but we have it. So if we need it, we can always go and take it. So now we may start doing some things for the arm, just those things here. We might need to do those, to extract those things and make them thicker or make them thickness, or we can leave them like this. It's up to us. Let's extract them. Let's extract them to practice extractions. So how to do this? Be very careful when you mask, because we need to mask first. Don't go over the edge like this. Don't. Just stay away from the edges, because after you extract, it will be bad. You know, so stay away from the edges. That's my advice. You can try to go over the edges, and then you will see, because you will see that it's not good because you need mostly you need a straight surface without too much things on the edge. So it will be best after extract to just adjust it manually than to go over the edge here. So this, let's extract it. So I just masked with control and dragging, mask it. We don't have symmetry on the arms, which I don't care. So extract, because we can always, of course, mirror. It's very easy. Extract, accept, then make it solo, just to show you. So when we extract and accept, ZBrush is just jumping to our new subtool that it created, and we can Control-Shift-Click to isolate only this group, then del hidden. And del hidden is, I haven't shown you, but yeah, it's here in modified topology, del hidden. It's a little bit, you know, from modified topology, I'm using only mirror and weld, del hidden, weld points sometimes, and close holes, nothing else. And there are a lot of things here. So it's a little bit confusing. That's why I have it here, because it's one of my most used things. Del hidden, and then zero mesher on the low count. And sometimes zero mesher, when the things go very thin, it makes mistakes. So let's try to get rid of this by a little bit bigger count there. Yes, it's cool. Yeah, you just have to Control Z and try again when you have this kind of obvious bugs. But it's not exactly a big issue, because it's not exactly a big issue, you know. So I'm just dragging with my high polish brush, and then move brush here. Then I will show everything, and we can even deflate this a bit because it's too much outside the object itself, which is not good. Deflate it a bit, so inflate, but on the other side. And it's here. And I can zero mesh it again, just to see what's happening. Every zero mesh that you made, it will make the smoother geometry, which sometimes is good, sometimes is not that good. But in our case here, it's fine. Smoother geometry is fine for us. Now we can continue on the other places, but first let's move this. I want to make this good, the border here to be better looking. That's why we have a separate object now. That's why I extracted it, because we have more control, and that's a cool thing. So let's now, don't forget, I switched to the arm now, so I'm on the arm. Don't forget to disable this mask and before you make new one, because otherwise you will have a problem. It will extract both, and yeah, you don't want that. So disable one mask by control dragging outside the object, and now we are making this mask. Making the mask with control, just with control drawing on the object, making the mask, rotating, moving, everything. And now I will extract this. Extract, accept, again, Control-Shift-Click, del hidden, and then zero mesher on the lowest. Let's see if it will make some problems. Yes, it had made some very huge problems here. I'm not sure why. Let's see. Let's make it with a little bit bigger polygon count here. Okay, now it's a bit better, although it has some issues here, which I don't know why they appear, but it's not exactly a big problem. So now I will deflate it again to match more the hand below, and then I will move this to go below the other armor. All right. And this is looking promising. Of course, we will need to zero mesh it a few more times probably. Let's try. Okay. It's a bit better. We can use this. And probably this will be it for this video, of course. And yeah, we'll continue in the next one, where I will show you some other things. And maybe we can start making the sword, or we'll see. So bye for now. So guys, I had to restart ZBrush. So I think this gives us the opportunity to show you how to load a file into ZBrush again to show. So first Control N, because I did this. Then I will close this by double clicking here, this side panel, and then we are left with this. So now, without closing this light box, we can close it, we can open it, it doesn't matter, but it's there. We can go to Load Tool. So in Tool menu, Load Tool, because we are saving from Save As in Tool menu. Now we are loading, Load Tool. Let's go to our absolute beginner ZBrush tutorial and this file, I think. So now nothing happens. In order to put the file into your canvas, you have to drag it in. And when you drag it, you can start working. So you drag again and oh, what happens? Okay, basically you have to press Edit here, Edit Object, which is T, the T key. Or press just Edit Object. And now you can rotate your object, but you cannot see it. Why? Because you have all those objects above it. So let's disable lightbox or just close it. And yeah, this is our object, obviously, but the others are also there. What to do? Control N is just new. Control N. I don't know if there's a button here for Control N, but Control N basically is making this emptying all your canvas from the things that you don't need. And now we can click on this material here and get our basic material, or we can just click on our basic material here to give it to the object. And of course, one more thing we have to do is to put our image here. So go to Texture, Import, and I think it was the crop. Yes, open it. Now go to Texture again, click on it, and put Add to Spotlight, this button here, Add to Spotlight. Press it. Wow, we have it. And now with this button in the top a little bit right, we have this, which we can touch and then drag on the sides. We can make it smaller or bigger. We will make it smaller and put it on the side right here. We don't need it because the sword we will make it later, and we put it here by dragging inside this circle. Inside we drag, not in the center, because from the center, from the exact center here in this orange circle, we'll drag and move the circle itself, and then from here, you know, it's taking a little bit practice to get used to it. So now I'll press just Z on my keyboard to hide this circle and start working. But if you remember, by Z you can make the circle appear again. But if you remember, we have to do one more thing, which is go to brush, because our brushes won't work, most of them, and